You're listening to the All In Podcast with your hosts, Shane and Blake, giving you a new perspective on the dental industry. Are you ready to go all in?
Let's do this.
Welcome to the All In Podcast, the podcast that brings you a new perspective on the dental industry. I am Shane McElroy, and I'm joined, as always, by Blake the Madman McClellan. How are you, buddy?
Tired, but good.
I keep trying to think of different ways to introduce you, and I got to get better at it.
Yeah, I just like, I don't even need an intro. Like, just like, hey, that other guy, you know, like whatever.
The co-host.
The guy.
The co-host.
That just scrambles.
Like Spodek and Bolden, like Spodek has relegated himself to the co-host. He let Peter be the host. Like it matters.
I applaud you. And I like, it's tiring though, man. Like when you have to do all this stuff, like let's keep it real. You know, it is a full-time job doing all of this content and all that stuff once it has some validation, right? Once you actually see that there's some return on the investment of time, it becomes a drug, right? And then so, you know, if you look at from DIA being an in-person event to Implant Compare and all the content we make on the platform and then for social media, but dude, it's exhausting. I'm not going to say who, but a mutual friend of ours quit Instagram this week and said that his daughter was in his lap and he was going through posts and he said, okay, that's enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was going through, he was sliding through the feed and he deleted it. And he said, and I said, good for you. You know, like I applaud you. And he goes, man, it needs to compliment me, not become a drug. And it does. And so
that's fair, by the way. I view social media, it can be addictive. I look at it as more of a tool for just getting the word out. But I don't think everybody views it that way. And I've had to pull my kids away from stuff. Like TikTok to me is addictive. I'll sit there for like an hour and I'm like, what did I just waste my time doing? Like I laughed, I enjoyed it. But after a certain point, it's like, what am I doing here? I could be valuing my time with my kids, or my kids see posts on Instagram and stuff, but they like, they're weird, man. They like the blood and the bone. I know that sounds freaking weird, but they like this stuff. I don't know, especially Wyatt.
But it's balanced and that's fine. If it compliments you, it's fine, right? It just, once it becomes a drug, like it's, okay, let's say, for instance, these people that post about how great their life is or whatever, you know, they only post the glamour stuff, right? And they're trying to be influential in status, right? Like David was talking about in the last podcast. And instead, what they're looking for is validation. And they were the ones that got really upset about the likes going away on Instagram and things like that. And I think because I
can't wait for that, by the way. I cannot wait for that.
I can't either. You know, it's honestly given me the confidence to start posting blindly, like more. I'm trying to stay consistent with posting content, like kind of like Barstool Sports or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm finding that, and by the way, make it loud. My wife just pulled up, so the dogs are going to go crazy.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, I think it's great. You know, we still have it on the Implant Compare platform, like likes. But
I think it's different for that platform because it's a certain amount of community. I think it's kind of a plateau effect in any platform. There gets to be a point where you just want the likes. And once, like my kid wanted to do something on YouTube and he goes, how many people do you think will like it if we do a video? I go, I'm not helping you do a video on YouTube if you're doing it for the likes. You don't need to care about what anybody's doing. I go, I'll help you, but only because it's something you want to do and you like it. And that's all that matters.
Good on you.
Because like think about it, when you're scrolling through your feed, how many times do you like shit of mine or I like shit of yours without it? I may not have seen it.
All the time, honestly, right? Because I've either seen it through a text with you. It became more of a support thing. So I think it's good that it's going away because they're in a point where they need to change it up. Implant Compare is still trying to bring people to it and motivate them for content. Whereas we know the motivation with Instagram, right? Because now people have made careers off of it, stuff like that. Whereas IC is new. So we're just going to keep it for a while because I think it also help users identify good content versus bad content on the platform. Because we're getting to that point where we're going to have so much coming in.
All engagement though. Let's talk about IG for a second. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think the most important thing and the reason you call it social media is not to get imaginary likes from people for them just pushing a button. They didn't even look at it. But if they really liked it or they didn't like it or whatever, they're going to comment. And I think that's where you actually get true engagement, connecting with other people, right? No, the important part.
I think it's good, you know, and even with, I think videos help that too, because they made it more about the views and not the likes. Yeah. And, you know, they're going to have this gamified aspect because that's part of the, unique.
Well, it is addictive in a
alchemy.
way, and they want to keep people on the platform. So, but there's got to be a reason Instagram's getting rid of it, though. They're not doing it because they're kind and gentle people. You know what I mean? I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying, like, it's
No, there's
business.
always, yeah. I mean, there is no altruistic, tech company. Let's be honest.
We're going to get David Attia on, and he's in Australia, and that's where they test it. So I'm interested to see his perspective on that when we interview him later this week. That'll be awesome,
interesting.
actually.
I think it's good, and I think that's where it needs to be for dentistry as well, because it needs to be less about how many followers they have that account has, because there's a ton of shitty accounts out there that just like spam Instagram, and they've got a bunch of fake Russian followers. I think it needs to be more about like who you're following and what that personality is. It's a new way, like I tell the brands all the time, it's a new way for the stage. The old medium for
it's quality over quantity too. It usually, like, I think the old way to view it is like how many followers you have, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're like, and especially nowadays, it's harder to get followers because the algorithms and stuff, like, it's not as easy. Like on TikTok, you can get a lot. Instagram has become much more difficult, but it's the quality of the followers you have. Like, I was kind of rolling. I sent you some images, and I'm not gonna say who some of these people are, but like some of the people following the podcast Instagram page, that's pretty cool. Like, I started looking at them, I'm like, oh my God, they're listening or they're following us. They're really,
that's
in
more
our
about,
industry a big deal.
It should be more about your community, right? Like, but
yeah,
it is weird because what does it really matter?
Nothing.
What does it really matter at this point? If it's not bringing value to you in your life, the metrics don't mean a damn thing.
Yeah.
Like,
if it's not your business, who cares?
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, like, look, this is my business. I mean, it built what I am today. I mean, not for who I am as a person, not by any means, but it helped me get what I saw as a vision for this industry and some tools and mechanisms that I want to get out there.
It helped you build a brand online
100%.
because it's a platform like anything else, like TV, radio, whatever. What is cool though is that
I would not be a partner at a dental conference if I did not have the Instagram. 100%. No one would have.
There's zero chance of it, and not like in a negative thing on you. It just couldn't have happened before, because how would you have connected with all these people? So I find it interesting now. We look at all these platforms where it used to be like TV and radio, right? Or you meet up at the town hall or whatever, right? Like way back in the day. And now what is cool is there's so many platforms now to get out there and connect. So if you have a message or a story or whatever, the tools are out there to create the content in an interesting way, very cheaply, mostly free. And you can get it out to anybody. If it's good, it's going to get big. And so you have so many content creators now, but like even us doing the podcast, can you imagine 10 years ago, this being a thing? We would have said that radio or audio is going away. It's all video. That's what the data was showing. The data wasn't wrong. And now it's going back the other way.
Radio star. Let's keep it real.
It's going back the other way though, because what do you listen to a lot of podcasts? Because I do when I'm driving my car or I'm working out. It's like
I
passive
do a few,
listening.
I would say my most consumed medium would be video on demand with like Netflix and stuff like that with a wife. And then I would say second would be video in the form of LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. They're all, I would say equally. I use all of them the same. And then the podcasting I do, like you say, like driving, airport, things like that.
So for me, it's a little different. I am not as active on LinkedIn as I should be because I know what that platform can do right now and it's wide open, but I don't enjoy it as much. And that's a big part of it for me. I don't enjoy it as much. So I don't engage with it as much.
I get that, and I'm struggling with that with TikTok right now. Like I've posted like 9 or 10 things on TikTok just to try to be the geezer participating.
I like the content though.
I love the content on there. The kids are killing it with the way, like I'm watching these bull riders and they're doing it to different songs. And then I'm watching these like girls that are just random people, influencers popping on there doing their funny little voiceovers.
It shows you what you like because you're seeing bull riders and girls and I'm seeing basketball moves and old people dancing. So
oh yeah, really, the AI is stereotyping me here.
That's spot on, buddy.
But I try to do it. I like we were talking with David about these old people doing TikTok. It's really funny. I think that dentists could run with it. I really do. I could see the dental practice getting involved.
I would.
And you make these short segment videos, with each assistant or a staff member, and then you're playing, some funny music to it. Like I would let them run wild with TikTok.
So let's talk about all right. What's kind of interesting is just had the sales meeting, and I do all this. The poster thing was big for DIA and for a lot of my clients. A lot of my guys saw that. Like it was cool. It was something I learned how to do.
Let's back it up. Okay, so you said you had a surprise for me at DIA. Show up with a poster of all the speakers in the Avengers in-game /
Yeah, it took a long time, but it was
Yeah, yeah.
fun.
And you had all these Marvel superheroes, right? With all the speakers' faces on them. It was amazing. It was really cool. Everybody loved it as a hit, and then it evolved out to more. And then
Yeah, I started doing it for my customers. So if you spend enough money with Shane over here, he will make you a superstar on a poster.
it was so cool. It was awesome. But it was some little thing that you did, and it was relatable for you because you're kids and you're into this and you're a nerd and all that stuff.
That's true. I am a
And you have way
nerd.
too much free time. Anyway, so if Bogan's listening, he should have a pay decrease. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
he saw my numbers. We're good.
But but it complimented what you enjoy, what you do, and man, you can hit a home run. And like that's where I think that this whole branding about yourself is the best thing in the world if you embrace it. It is tiring, but for me, it's making my company. So it's a job for me because it's half the things I do in a day. But if you can do it, dabble with that, it compliments you, right? Well,
Self-branding, but hold on. I'm going to interrupt you because I just want to put one thing in there. One thing I learned at DIA from David Beebe is make like whoever your customers, your story is their story or whatever. And that's what I was trying to do with that. Is like my people are my story. It's not just self-branding. It's my people. Do you know what I mean? That's how I try to view it. I learned a lot from that dude.
It's again complimenting you. It's not you doing something you're not comfortable with and going outside the box. It's just you doing something that you would have naturally done anyways, but
not without you pushing me,
you
buddy.
would have been as bold had you not been on social media and feeling that confidence boost, right?
Yeah,
so it is
true.
a double-edged sword. But again, you have run with it. You're a prime example of how beautiful social media can be with the right balance. It is making people overnight success, in any industry. But it's also in dentistry. But it's not overnight. When I say overnight, and that it's a year.
I think people see it all at once, but that was years in the making, right? Like that sort of thing. It's just people notice now.
It's a minimum of a year for you to actually like make something of it. And it may be years before you actually profit from it. It's not like you're making money. We're not making money on the podcast unless anybody listening wants to sponsor our
I'm
podcast.
spending it.
But you do this in the hopes that you get something in return. And look, it's backfired on me. I've worked with guys in dentistry, and so have you. It's burnt you, where you do a lot of stuff for people, and then they go, "Oh, yeah, thanks." Wait, what? You just made millions of dollars on this deal, or you got this or that. All of a sudden, like,
in there.
we can't even get in touch with you. All of a sudden, like, you can't even send me a bottle of scotch. I think that's the problem, though. Is you have those anxieties and those fears and the doubt in human behavior. When you do social media and you make that investment in yourself and put yourself out there and expecting this return, you go, you know what? This is probably just going to backfire. People suck. There's going to be trolls. There's going to be this, going to be that. Someone's going to screw me. Or if I promote this person or I do something for them, like you did with the poster, they're just going to treat me like a peasant. This is how a lot of salespeople feel. Let's keep it real.
I think if you go in life, if you go in the mentality of like, I didn't do that poster to get anything out of it. Right. I thought that people might like it.
No expectations.
Yeah. And I did it genuinely. Like I do mean this. I did this because you guys have been awesome to me. DIA was cool. I was, it's funny. People thought I was involved with it and I'm 100% not. I'm just an attendee. The guys who created it treated me like I was part of it. And they did that with everybody. And so for me, it was truly a thank you. And I hope they think this is cool because they mean a lot to me. And I hope this means something to them. Right. Going that way and everything else is just bold. A bonus.
It was a gamble too, though. I mean, you put who'd you put? You put Picos as for Professor X, right?
Yeah.
And so people could take that either way. You put him as like the Godfather, right? In a sense, right? You gave homage
to me. In my head, that's a big deal because I love Professor X. Like he's,
right. And then, but other people say, "Oh, he's like old. He's the old guy," and and it wasn't that way at all. But I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
Well, someone made a joke about it that we know. That knows him really well as a friend, and he was like, "Oh, this that." But I mean, and point of the matter is, look, people are finicky, and it was a bold move. It was a home run. And what you're doing with Implant MBA is it's working, dude. It's actually working. Now, what that means,
I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. It's fun.
Is it helping you in your career? 100%.
Oh, 150 billion%.
Have you teaching a freaking camp on what reps should be doing with social media? I don't know why the hell they haven't.
Well, I understand why. Here's why. Listen, man, if you had like 100 of me, that would be terrifying for a company because You know, I'm
It's hard to
different.
police, but if you
You
jump ahead of it, if you get ahead of it before it gets out of your control, you can't.
Salespeople are just notorious for like pushing lines and like from an HR state, like you just can't promote, go wild, you know? So, but then you also with social media, like you also can't be like, here's the exact way to do it. It has to be, I don't know.
Well, and I think Strawman did that, and and Nobel may have done that too with the reps, because I saw some of them get started, and they all had like it was like in uniform. They all changed their icon, their profile pictures and stuff. You can see that there's some type of mandating there, but I don't think that companies knew about social media at the time either. They're just now learning themselves, so I think this is the time that you just take and say, look, here are the no's. Here's what you can't do. But here's the rest, you know, like, because I mean, docs would love this shit, man. You guys could be helping doctors out left and right so they get their content out there.
Well, I mean, listen, I've spoken at some study clubs, and I wasn't speaking technically for BioHorizons. We haven't had a lecture together. It was on social media strategies or whatever. And one of the things to tell the reps I was talking about is like, and this goes for any sales rep, do not put the company you work for on there. And here's why. It's not that you're ashamed to work in that company at all. It's that inherent. All right, so you see like a post or something, and then you see a corporate logo on there. Like, I don't want to look at that. That's why. And just try to relate that to your everyday. Say somebody thinks my content's cool and they're a Strawman user or an Astro or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. If I put that orange on their Bios logo, then they may not engage with me. And I think that's a mistake in my opinion.
They're just gonna be like, dude, you're selling me something. Yeah. You know, but because that's how most lectures are funded.
Technically. Not kind of, yeah, actually.
Well, almost 99% of the lectures are funded by some company with an agenda, you know, and no one's doing it just for the means of it. Like with DIA not having an agenda, that's really part of the disruption. But it now you're starting to see it from other conference. You've seen it in the tech world, right? It's just general journal like TechCrunch doing their Disrupt conference and stuff. Those tend to be the best hosts because there's no agenda. The lectures come from authenticity, like the TEDx. You know, there's another one.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
That's what's winning right now, though, man. Being honest and real and raw. Like, if you what's the best content on TV outside of Netflix crushing everything and Game of Thrones? It's all reality TV. Everywhere you look, there's another reality television series. You know, The Bachelor, Florida Bama Shore, Jersey Shore, all that stuff. Dude, I love that trash TV.
I don't enjoy that content that much. I used to. When I was young like you, I used to enjoy that trash.
Well, but I mean, it's what's driving our industry. Some of the best time slots are going to this kind of content. If you look at Bravo, you know, Andy Cohen, that guy's made a ton of money off these housewives and everything because he produces that.
Sure.
He's crushing it.
I mean, there's different types of like, we talk about this all the time, like Dr. Pimple Popper. That's a reality TV show, right? Like, but that's a different type of thing. So I think it's just people went off this to see what they're real.
What is Facebook?
What is YouTube? What are all these videos? Everything?
This is all reality TV.
It's all new mediums for content. Like you don't have to be on cable television where you can be on Facebook TV or Instagram or whatever and get more views. Actually,
I noticed that with David when he was talking about the different shows that his friend had a real estate show and series, right? And he talked about it as if it was on ABC, but it was just a YouTube series. Yeah, and that's what's changed is we're still being influenced. There's still a medium of which we get information and entertainment. It's just now moved to our phone.
So YouTube has more. So
YouTube and Facebook and
YouTube has more users from like the really money base, which is like 25 to 40-year-old males or in any demographic, than any cable or like satellite company in the world. It's kind of crazy. Like, so the mediums have changed completely. And
now, like that's what my TV service is. I have YouTube TV. I pay, I think it's $55 a month. I think it's $55 a month, and I get all kinds of services. But it's YouTube TV on demand.
So we use Hulu Live, and I think it's like $30 or $40 a month. And then like Netflix, I used to pay like $200 a month for all this crap with cable, and I realized I don't watch like 98% of it. And my kids don't. It's so funny, dude. As an aside, we were watching regular TV on something. I forget where this was, and they're like, Daddy, can you just go to this part or go watch? I want to watch this show right now. I was like, bro, that's not how this works here. And I didn't even know how to describe it for him. All these experiences like on demand, which is wild.
And because of that, we've become more pretentious about our content, right?
Sure.
That's why
spoiled.
That's when it happened. Is we stopped when we had TiVo and on-demand TV, right? We could skip commercials. that's when our mindset shifted that we don't want to be shown these ads, right? These BS ads and all this stuff. And we don't
now
like David said,
real creative on how to get that in there. And you
right.
bring real
and that's
value.
where you have to just make your own content. That's why everybody from Disney, HBO, they're all owning their own on-demand platform, and they're making their own shows. It started with them co-hosting other people's content and working on other platforms. And now they make all their integration.
Owning
and
it.
Then the final phase is them making their own studios and making their own production. And
Netflix original, today, Hulu original, Amazon original, everything original now.
Well, their profit today was Netflix. They just their earnings statement was today, and they were $1.30 a share, higher, 145% higher than expectations.
That's awesome.
Their profits this quarter.
Well, and think about it. They don't and think about how cool TV, like we call TV, you know what I mean? Like these shows are now, because they're not bound by the parameters of what a network says. So it's got to be a 24-minute episode because we have to have 6 minutes of commercials, and you know what I mean? Like, or a movie has to be an hour and 45. I just got done watching The Witcher. Episodes are an hour and 15 random minutes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like all these different formats and stuff you'd never see on there before. And people get to go buck wild with content now.
It's got to be savvier. Even like with Joe Rogan, to be honest with you, I love Rogan, and I know that's how he's making his money. But the first 5 minutes of his podcast, I skip because it's commercial, right?
Yeah, I actually.
But then when he's on the show talking about something, when he's talking about something, when he's like, "Oh shit, man, am I on it?" I'm taking that, but Alpha Brain, which I take religiously.
Yeah,
I got because of him, and I love it. And he created a way of doing a new kind of influencer marketing with podcasting. And so I think that each medium has its own value, and each one's going to have its own unique audience. Just like DIA has one crowd, Voice of Dentistry has a different crowd. Like there's a happy space for all of this to happen, right? There's different crowds. But I think if we don't embrace like the balance of it all, then we all are, it's not going to be good. You'll hate it, right? And it'll become a job. And
well, let's get into content creation real quick, because I want to talk about this, dude, and because you're one of the best content creators I know. I hate giving you these compliments, but it's just damn true. You've coached me through a lot of this stuff. Let's just give away the way we do it, because I had a bunch of people at the sales meeting ask me. I get people all the time, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it's not that I'm trained in anything, by the way. Let's just give away all the secret sauce, like what we use for the platforms that we use. I mean, we talk about it in lectures anyways, so why not? You down?
I mean, yeah, I don't think that I'm a genius in content creation. Yeah,
I genius. I said really smart at content. Maybe I did.
I think it was genius. That's where I got from. But no, I think first of all, Plan Compare was just resharing other people's content, right? That's all it was.
But you gave props to other people, which is a point of content, which made them love you for it. So I
gave context to it.
Exactly.
Just like you can repost an article, if you give some context to it, if you look at Barstool Sports, right, or CNN or anything like that, half the time they're just resharing other articles. Now, CNN's big publishing house, that might be a bad example, but even WSB TV, like the local news in Atlanta, they're always resharing other news outlets. That's what the AP is, right? The Associated Press releases an article or a news blip, and then people run with that.
Well, I think there's also some of this too, is like you're sharing other people's work or them. This is how I view it. John Sheehy just showed his employee on Z Systems. He's the president of Z Systems, making his own employee a superstar, builds loyalty with the employee, looks awesome. Now I want to work with this superstar guy, good looking guy. I think his name's Eric or whatever. That caught my attention. It was really smart. You see what I do and you do, like I'll be out in the field and I'm showing off my guys, right? People want to see that content, but it's a very high compliment to them. They love that. People share my stuff. I'm like really flattered. It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, I love it. You know what I mean? So I think there's ways to like build a community, like what we talked about in the last episode, with this content and loyalty by just in what you said, you were sharing other people's stuff, but they loved you for it because it was helping build a community for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was wanting to be the amplifier, right? Because we had a pretty fast following. We got a good amount of followers.
You hit Instagram kind of like where TikTok is now. You know what I mean? Or maybe slightly.
It was very early.
Yeah.
I mean, when we met Pay Ray, he was like a few hundred followers, and my whole point was, look, we don't want to be we don't want to be like the knowledge source. We just want to be the platform on which the knowledge is happening at, right? Yeah. So that was kind of following our model. DIA is a little different. Yeah. It's more about being funny and humorous and relatable. So, the five of us aggregate different content heavily with Brian Balawas on the feed. I mean, the theme and stuff, he's pretty good at that stuff. But, you gotta figure out what's going to be your best thing. You can focus on the aesthetics, but less on the aesthetics and all of that, and more on what's your agenda? What are you going to be? Let's say you have to do this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the guy that does juggling of apples and oranges, and then all of a sudden you're out of shit to juggle at 6 months? Don't commit to that.
No.
And don't do, look, I'll call you out here. When you first started, you were posting and tagging everybody. You were doing the spam tagging. You were
We had
doing
to fight about it.
90
too.
hashtags.
What the fuck doing, dude?
I was like, stop.
It's clueless. I'm like, and you put it in context where you're like, what would you think if you got tagged on it? Like, I'd be kind of annoyed. And you're like, yep.
But that's it. Don't just tag people, just tag them. Like, make sure there's relevance,
for
right?
sure.
And because if you're going to get their attention, you better hit a kill, right? Because let's say that Bloody Tooth guy, you got a brand new account and you tag Bloody Tooth guy, and it's you with putting on a glove, right? Like, he doesn't give two shits about that. But if it's you with a nice extraction or something, and it's relatable, then maybe Bloody Tooth guy is going to start following you, and that will help the algorithm to get you aggregated in people's search on the people they should follow. So there's a strategy always, and don't be annoying. This is not about the affecting numbers.
High level strategy, but don't get caught in the minutia, right? High level strategy, don't get caught in the muck. You know what I mean? Because like I think that was hard for a lot of people. It's like, I don't know what to post or how to post. Like, what do you like? You know what I mean? Do you think this is funny? Post that. All right, I'm going to give away some of the apps that I use, the All In Podcast, right? So each time we do what do you want to call that? A cover for whoever the guest is. I have an app on my phone. I find a picture. I use Google and I find a picture of them. I try to find a decent one. And I don't know if you've heard of this before. I haven't even told you about this one. It's called IMAENGINE. So Imagen, right? So like imagine with image in it. And so you can turn that into like a cartoonish kind of thing or a sketch or drawing different things. I take that and I have a different app. You ever use clippingmagic.com, dude?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, it's the shit.
That's where you're getting the perfect face editor.
Photoshop where you're trying to crop stuff out and you suck at it. Dude, This thing is like, it's Shane proof. You just draw your little lines real fast or whatever. It's easy. In one of my presentations, I have it where it's like, I have one with Tiger Woods and I do a live video. It's like 5 seconds. That's how I did this image right here. You can have perfectly cropped images. And I take that, save it, and drop that into Canva, and then have the background their images. And Canva I love Canva. I'm obsessed.
Canva's God. The best thing I've found is in starting any
no matter what business you're in, you should be down. They need to pay us for this, but like actually they don't. They're doing just fine. Anytime I do a flyer for a course, I use that because you don't want to use Word. You can turn stuff into PDFs. You can put images.
When they created WordPress, this is what WordPress is to website creation. Canva is to
except you still may freak people out. If you don't know WordPress, you're okay. Like this is like the easiest form.
It's so easy.
Other people have put their stuff on there that you can use. They have images and stuff. You do post stuff with it too. They've gotten better on the actual mobile app too. It's easy.
Well, now you can make videos. The mobile app's really nice actually. Yeah. That is by far, and they're well funded.
Oh, dude,
so like at this point, they're not going to go anywhere. And they actually made Adobe a little scared for a while, but hands down, one of the best sites, Canva, CANVA.com.
It's like $8 a month, dude. It's nothing.
Is that what it is? Yeah, because you can add teams. You can add people from your office to your team.
They can all share the content. My wife's company does that. Honestly, like I use that. I would say probably every day it takes me no time now. I'm really pretty quick with it. But it's totally worth it.
It's quick within thumbs. Watch out for Shane.
What's that now?
Don't be fooled with that dad bod. This man knows how to gram.
Yeah, my thumbs are in shape, baby.
No, it's such a good site, man. I use it in my lectures. They are great. I've used them for 4 years now.
You can even do PowerPoints
They were
on there. Like you can.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best for PowerPoint,
if
but you
you're
can.
12. Yeah, but if you want to be a real G, you get on Prezi.
I tried. I paid for all that because of you, and I never used that shit.
Dude, I'm working on my next one, and it'll be good. I'm doing more videos in my lecture because I think that's what people are responding to, just powerful, big images.
We can keep a consistent message, too, and keep that flow, even whether you may be on or off. It's going to be the same message you want, right? So that's why I like videos, so I don't have to talk as much. It works out better for me that way.
Oh, it is. It is. And people, there's an emotional trigger with music that hits
Yeah.
people. And when they're watching a visual aid and the music's playing, they can really get that empathy. And then you got them.
Yeah.
You got 'em
Well, and
close,
with
right?
video, people learn a lot of different ways. The funny thing is, of all these things, video is probably the easiest now. There's so many apps you can edit with. We do it all on our iPhone now. Like, it's super easy. It's funny how video has become so easy.
It is and it isn't, because it depends on how picky you are. It is if you're okay with the automation,
Yeah.
but then if you're not and you want customization and you keep wanting to change it and stuff, you don't want to stick to a theme, that's easily
fair.
replicated.
That's fair.
It takes forever because editors are a pain in the ass,
they're
and
the
I deal with them all the
worst.
time. They're the worst.
Only
They're
thing
so
worse than an
slow.
editor is a developer.
Oh my
That's
god!
a Zach Hansen, buddy. If I see Team IC.
Yeah, our CTO. He up there in Boise, Idaho today.
Yeah, he can't get me from there. I don't think. Actually, he probably could.
No, it is. I mean, developers are just another thing. It's like you're not allowed a perfect product. You got to pay someone to build something that they're saying, well, it's going to break, and you're going to have to pay me.
You're
more
gonna have to
money.
pay me to fix what I broke. like
It's like buying a used car without all the lies, right? Like it's just like, hey, straight up, you're going to be here in a month with repairs.
especially because we're such patient people too. That works out really well.
Yeah.
What's another? So another one I use. You know how we do the stupid funny post where we put our picture into like funny faces or what, like movie stuff. We crop our faces in. That's Face and Whole .app, right? So they have it online, but you can do it on your phone. And so
that works
I
really
use
well.
that to make the post. So I used all three of those: the Canva, Clipping Magic, and Face and Whole. Those three apps that I think total cost is like $10 a month to do all of that crap. And you can do good versions or bad versions or whatever. But I'm telling you that Face and Whole is the best dollar you will ever spend, and it's free online, like 100% free.
I'll drop a gem here then. So with the music on our videos, you have to have music rights, or YouTube's going to shut you down, Instagram will shut you down. So you have to have the permission to use it. So I have a membership with Soundstripe. I think it's kind of pricey. I don't know what the cost is now because they've changed a few times, but I know it's significantly cheaper than going to like Theme Jungle.
Sure,
or I think there's Audio Jungle is what's called, Audio Jungle. So and it's a better UI UX, so it's easy to find. You can search by time, how long you need it to be, and themes and moods and all that. But anyways, Soundstripe, you can download some really nice modern music. There's some DJs and artists that they put their new music on there, and it's really good.
Oh yeah.
So I usually make my movies in iMovie, and honestly, our team doesn't really handle most of it. I handle most of our video content production
because you're good at it, and you've got an eye for it too. It's easy,
honestly,
when to somebody else what you want.
It's an ROI thing. If I've got to tell someone how to do something,
it takes just as much time.
And then they got to do it, and I got to go back and tell them again how I didn't like it. And then the third time follow up, which is common, right?
Yeah.
A third time follow up with a website or a web video, then it's just a lost leader. But if I can teach myself the software, and when I'm laying around in bed at night or up at, when I'm feeling inspired, then I'll make it myself.
You enjoy doing some of that stuff because there's no way you don't. Because I like doing the stupid, funny crap. I know you do.
No, I do. And the other night, my wife, she was like, I was like, look, babe, I'm going to stay up and play a little Call of Duty and try to get some inspiration going and get some work done tonight. I really need to just zone out. So I stayed up to like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
12-year-olds own you and talking about your mom.
Yeah, I played. It's funny. I played Call of Duty for about 30 minutes, got owned. And was like, oh, that's why I don't play that shit anymore. And then I put it down, I pick up the laptop, and I worked from like 10 to like 3:30, and I really got a ton of shit done. And I made a new flyer for our conferences when we go to them, like to pass out, and a video and all these things. And it was a hit. Our video was great. So I think
that was a really good video, dude. I'll give you credit on that one. That was you've done the last couple you put out have been really nice, like really, really nice.
We're trying to be better about making content now, and we're trying to evangelize our channel owners with CE coming and then all this stuff.
I gave you a little idea too that I hope you run with. I won't say it on this because I don't know if you want that to be a secret. Yeah, I might have to hold you to it if we say it. You know what I'm talking about. Starts with a G, ends with an iffy.
Oh. Actually, I just ordered some because of your advice.
Still your thunder. You can announce
that. That was good advice. No, yeah, well, that was good advice. So actually, the guy that I was going to is not doing it anymore. Yeah. So prices just went up for me like 500%. So
hold up here. By the way, so do you still use Fiverr regularly?
Yeah, I use it a lot too. That's actually a good hack. I mean, if you need stuff done, Fiverr's awesome.
Fiverr for specific stuff, right? Because I would do simple stuff like simple logos and things like that. If you have a pretty good idea what you want, Fiverr, look at the reviews and stuff. But dude, you can get a logo done for $5 or $10 for real. And if you want the vector files, you may pay a little bit more, but it's the best deal out there because some people will be in Serbia or Australia or whatever. And with graphic stuff, I don't care where you are. If you're good with graphics, you're good with graphics. Voiceover stuff, not as much. Well, maybe some of them are good. $50 on Fiverr was our intro to the pot and outro. It was really, really good.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know?
Well, I mean, you only need it like with Fiverr, it's automation. So think of it very like binary, right? It's ones and zeros. So you've got to tell them exactly what you want, and they're going to produce that. So be ready, be prepared, and then when you need someone who knows the computer skills or whatever, they can execute it, even from writing a blog or whatever. But you're going to have to give them every detail. So that's where it's great to
don't go there if you're trying to get like conceptually an idea. Like I don't really know. Why don't you just run wild with it? That's not going to work there. But
no. And usually what they'll use is they'll use like preloaded templates and stuff. And so you'll get a logo and you're like, oh shit, someone else has my logo.
And I don't blame them because they're going to start with something that's simple for them, especially for that price range.
To make money.
Yeah. And they got now where you can like have real pros. The same thing could cost you $50. I'm not saying the same thing. I just mean like the range of price is crazy, but you can filter it all out. And I would say for like simple stuff, you have a really good idea. Fiverr's a really good hack that marketing companies probably don't want you to know about. It's true. It just is.
Yeah, I mean,
the ones won't care.
There's so many people now in millennials that want to work from home and that want to be essentially a business owner or consultant. So don't be afraid to reach out to someone who may be working at Best Buy as that senior director of content. A lot of them are happy to have these side hustles like my developers do and all this other stuff. No matter if they're at a big company or small, everybody's usually got some kind of side hustle. So
somebody told me I should make a business out of making those posters with the faces there. I'm like, no. I was like, not a chance because somebody else
how much profits in dental implants?
Yeah.
Those profit margins?
Hey, let's not give away all the secret sauce now. That's not what this episode's about, is it? I'm going to get in trouble. What I like about nowadays is somebody's figured out a way to make certain aspects easier. And so, what we're kind of long way getting to is content creation. The tools are there. It's just jumping in. But you have no excuses. I get tired of now the excuses because I had this excuse. I don't know what to do or how to do it. Just try whatever. It's cheap now. You can do whatever you want. It's easy to make. Nobody can keep you from making something that looks professional content if that's what the look you're going for,
Instead of your next study club having someone come talk about oral path, why don't you have someone come talk about this kind of stuff? How to actually make your practice an influencer, a media in-house, make it a media house, right? Teach your team.
The lecture I did at the study club was like social media hacks, but there's a lot of people who can give that lecture too. A lot.
If you gamify posting content for your social media channels within your practice and your team actually enjoys making content for you and you've got at least 3, 4, 5 healthy bodies, capable of making some really great content.
Idea. Gamify it, like give them a reward for whatever piece of content gets like the most engagement or likes or whatever.
Whoever gets the most this week, that's how you make it fun and make that culture internally, but then bring someone in that says like, look, Adobe's got some sweet apps. You got this, you can do this, you can do this, you do this. Here's how to do dental photography, bring in someone like that. Cause like, that's the other problem. Like some people out there like, dude, seriously, if you got an iPhone 7, first of all, that shouldn't be what you're taking photos with in the first place. We all need a better, more professional setup. But secondly, dude, it's an iPhone 7. You're way behind the game, man. You need to catch up and get something a little bit better quality. Because if you're posting that stuff, people are clowning on you, no matter if it's great clinical work or not. They're just like, dude, who's this old fogey? You need some rich photos and videos if you're going to put content online. If you can't have pixelated content, that is a no.
You know what I mean? It's just too easy. There's too much. There's just no excuses anymore.
The hell, those Fujinon cameras we use are so tiny. Those little tiny things, man. The China's got.
I was just with Curry today. He had the octopus arm coming out of that post that you shared. Like it always looks like what was that movie? Was Tom Cruise in?
Mission Impossible.
Not the Mission Impossible one, but the one with that one too, kind of actually. But like the Alien one, where there's really long arms and legs, like almost like octopus or whatever.
Into the world,
Invasion or whatever. It's from like an old radio show. It just looks like an octopus alien arm coming in. It's so awesome.
It's probing time, baby.
Yeah, but the thing set up fast. So like I pushed, like they were forgetting to record. So I pushed record. Brian Linke grabbed it and just angled it and it was done. Like there was setup was like, he's done. It was cool.
Stuff like that needs to be set up. Like you could do a Pico setup, like have big booms and cameras mounted, or like the Stanley's
cool.
like that. That's incredible, dude. Like Stanley's production is
Curry Levitt's got that kind of setup too, and that's awesome. But you don't have to.
Having someone put an iPhone in the face of the patient, where like
that's
that is
bad
just
move.
That I'm telling you, it's gonna backfire on you down the road. This is gonna come back on you. They're like, well, this was posted on Instagram and we had an infection. So did you have a front desk person?
I think it's better to do them with iPhones for like an interview or a testimonial because they're comfortable with it, but not clinical photos as much. It's different. Like I'll get in there with an iPhone, take a shot of a certain thing if the patient signed off, but they're out. Do you know what I mean? And so it's a little different.
It's just it's gonna hurt you in a lawsuit if you've got on your Instagram a case and that case had some complications.
Or like riding a hoverboard and extracting a tooth.
Like, so dog, right. Like we just saw that guy, 43 counts, right?
Oh my God.
So I think that they need to, have someone in the practice that's dedicated, that gloves in, that's sterile, that they have an actual camera, that they're not right in the patient's face. Get one of those nice DSLRs and get you some nice photos like that. Like that's okay too. I'm not saying you just the iPhone in the face thing for the clinical, no way. And then for your patient testimonial, I agree the iPhone's good, but that setup that we found, I think you were with me when we in the lecture, we talked about the B&H photo where it has the iPod Padcaster thing.
Yeah.
We put the iPad in this little plastic holder. It holds a
That's
mic,
better.
has a little flashlight. For your testimonials, it's like $800 with
regardless,
the iPad.
Well, my encouragement is don't wait to get that $800 thing. Just start doing it with your iPhone. Do you see what I'm saying? Like patients are okay with that. The more shit you add to it, the more it feels like a studio. Whereas we are used to having an iPhone interface every freaking second of every day.
No, I agree.
Yeah, like patients don't seem to be as shy with it because they're used to it or whatever. So,
and those that content's the best when they sit in the chair and they post something. And I know we all say it's not good to have the videos of them all drugged up on propofol coming back.
That's my favorite.
But let's be honest, how many people have made the news because of that?
Putting their kids on there, like the stuff that comes out of their mouth. My mom told me what I said when I came out, and I can't say it on here. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I don't remember who it is. Someone's oral surgery shirt says "We pull out" make a funny shirt. So if they do make that video, give it to them.
That's hilarious.
And for surgery, here's your surgery day shirt. So you don't get any blood on your shirt if it happens to, spit or drool or anything. And but it has a nice little hashtag on it, right? So then if they do share that video, boom, there you go. You had a net ready.
Honestly says, I never pull out.
Well, there's an Instagram handle on there, and shout out to him. It's the letter I.pull.out, and it's an oral surgeon.
Funny, dude.
And then there's Bone Gums and Harmony. That's another one I love.
That's a great name, dude. Well, Her Holiness the Pulp was one of the funny. I started following that before I even looked at her content. I'm like, that name alone tells me she's gonna have incredible content. Just so funny.
There's some good names out there.
So funny.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, look, I get the crassness if I pull out, but I mean, it's the neural surgeon pulling teeth, so it's, the play on words is pretty funny. Man. But but if you make something clever like that, and then. I got sedated or something is your hashtag, whatever it is. But because at the end of the day, I know that our industry's been very rigid and stuff, and we're like, oh well, we can't talk about being sedated. It can't be comical. There's complications that could happen. They could have high blood pressure after that.
Whatever.
At the end of the day, it's already happened. So either get on board or get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
But don't be mad when your competitor capitalizes on it and is crushing you because
the audience and the platform and make sure it's all legal consent and stuff, and we're good. You know what I'm saying? We're
Golly,
good.
Dude. If you aren't having a consent form in your practice right now,
there's got to be a thumbprint or something we can do that even speeds that up because there's a lot of people who don't do that. I just know that there's a lot of people who don't.
I think it should be a blockchain thing. I really do. This is where blockchain technology
is killer.
If we had
to freak patients out, it just needs to be easy. Just easy for everybody's sake. You know what I mean?
It does. And dentistry does not have easy. I posted, I was like, the Windows 7 is completely out of date. It's done now.
Yeah.
And now, most of our dental softwares are still working on Windows 8 and 10 or 8 and whatever the next one is.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's such an antiquated industry.
All right, here, I want to give a couple more things away, podcasting. So I want to do a podcast. I think we 2 years ago now, or a year and a half, we started talking about, especially in sales, it's a great way to get interaction with people. I had this conversation with a marketing company yesterday with their CEO, and I'm like, why on earth are you not doing this? I go, mine is less I don't use it locally really to sell anything. I don't really care about that. But the connections it's made, the people have context and the stuff I've learned, having David Bibe on, getting an hour with him, what's the value of that? A lot.
Emmy winner?
Yeah, like the knowledge gained. But I don't understand why more people with businesses don't do that and have fun with it, because this is the next platform that still has plenty of space. So if you want to do it, like we use Podbean to upload it. And if I can figure this out, I promise you, everybody can. Blake can attest to that. Like if I can do it, I'm not patient at all. So billion like hosting sites, we even have our micro site on theirs because it's just easier and shows all our episodes. And I just forward a domain. Audacity, if you're doing something locally to record, it's free editing software, so you can download it on any system. What's the mic that we both have? The Blue. I tried around. I messed around with a bunch of mics. This is so much better.
It's the Yeti Blue.
Yeti Blue. So instead of buying like 10 different mics for like $20 a piece, just spring for the $130 or whatever it is, because it's really, really good. Maybe they'll send us a free one now. And then what else do we use on this thing? Oh, and then I use Fiverr again to edit, crop it out, like balance all the sound. Like I don't like doing that because it takes too long. So I spend like $12 an episode on Fiverr with a guy. I think it's Brian McLean or something on there. Come up on Fiverr. I'll actually, $12 to edit and crop it and put all their intro music and balance everything out. Like, yeah, I'd rather pay $12 and do it.
It's so easy nowadays. And especially like if you have a team already of employees working for you in a practice, you've got a team to help this. You just got to coach it, man. You like just coach it, and then let it go out. Or even if you're like, let's say that you're working, you're a regional manager for a implant company or a dental company, have a strategy, work with your team, come up with the idea, and like what's his name? Gary Goldenrod. What was that you showed me?
Gary Goldenrod. We'll give him a shout out, dude. I love that crap. It's
dude. They did. It was funny. It was different.
It's funny, and it's pushed to the limit, and I love it.
It's gonna evolve. But it's a regional manager for Nobel, and he made like a series about this, misogynistic, cliche sales manager, and then really the atmosphere that what their interviews were like.
Just the stuff he's saying about the corporate side. Thank you, man, because I feel like he's doing it in a very different way with a lot of, especially our first episodes we're doing, just calling out the industry on stuff, even his own company.
Just try, man. Yeah. Like try something. Like just go out there and do it. Like I think that
ballsy, because like
very ballsy.
It was a risk for him to do that, but I think it's worth it. He's doing that on stage I know for a fact at their meeting, their national sales meeting. What was a risk, they accepted it and they're celebrating it. I think kudos to Nobel.
You're seeing that more and more. And what's happened is now these companies are losing that talent, because these people that are doing this are growing beyond that company. And if that company doesn't embrace it early and let the atmosphere, create an atmosphere for that to succeed, then they end up losing that talented person, because that person becomes entrepreneurial, because at that point you already got that kind of that bug, that disease, right? Entrepreneurship, right? And so I think that's where these companies right now, they're all looking like, how do we start? What do we do? What do we integrate? You've got people already doing this within your company.
And if you highlight them, it will build loyalty. I promise. It will not do what you think. They're so afraid of like, well, if we make them a big deal and they leave us, it's not that. You can't operate out of fear. It is loyalty.
Look what Bisco has done with Roland.
Oh yeah, dude. They'd have done a great job.
They said, you are an amazing personality. We're going to snag you up. He goes to the shows with them and everything else. Like, he is so talented and he's so animated. The series he's doing on Instagram, I mean, he's doing a lot of it in Spanish.
Funny, dude.
This guy is awesome. Funny. He's awesome. His breakout was Beers and Bonding, and it was like over 70 people in a 40-person breakout, drinking beer at 4:30 on a Saturday. So I think that you've got to find a way to try to embrace that and in your own art. And then utilize your team, and then take all this information that we've given you today and use these hacks.
Yeah. And do us a solid here. Tag us if you put some content out there, not to like promote us, just tag us so we know, like the All In Podcast, you did something with Canva or whatever, just tag us in that post for that reason. Right. And maybe mention that you did, or just DM us. Here's a piece of content that I did. I just want to see if like people are getting value out of that, because we're not bringing this stuff. We don't make money off of it, but if it helps you guys, that's awesome. So to do us that solid,
one, it'll make it easier for us to go pitch them and make them pay for our content. And then,
I didn't want to say that out loud, but
and two, it helps Shane's mom know that there's more people listening than just her, because she's still thinking it's just a hobby.
I love my mom. She's the best, dude.
Big supporter, man. You know what's funny is Zach's mom is exactly the same. Like every post Implant Compare is made from the beginning.
Shares everyone on Facebook. She didn't figure out Instagram yet, but on Facebook, man, she will share that. I love her
Man,
for
there's
it.
nothing wrong with a mom that loves you, man. That's awesome.
She's shout out to Karen Parkinson. That's my mom. How you doing, mom? She's gonna cry because of that now. I guarantee it. Watch. So, all right, guys. Bye, everybody, and my mom. We'll catch you guys next time on the All In Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the All In Podcast. See you next time.